Presenting the CW Crew.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Minfluencers. I'm Alexa Score, joined by John Foss and DJ Bonix. Together we are the CW Crew. Later on in the show, we have really great segments. DJ Bonix did an interview with Bio, and I had roller derby. Very interesting. But first, we have two very special guests, big names in Minnesota sports. We have Cal and Kendra of Minnesota United.
Come on in. Welcome, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being with us.
What are we doing?
So you guys do the play-by-play Cal, and
Yes.
Kendra, you're the color commentator for Minnesota United.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your role.
Well, you basically summed it up right there. This is kind of how at least I was taught. I don't know how you were taught, but I'm the why and he's the what. That was always what I was told by broadcast journalism school growing up. Let the play-by-play tell you what is happening, and I'm supposed to tell everybody why it's happening. So that's like a very simple, basic way, I think, to summarize my role on the broadcast, is just to make sure that everybody kind of knows why that pass was made, why that run was made, all those kinds of things, to kind of break it down and make it kind of a little more enjoyable for people.
Yeah, look, I mean, as Kendra sort of insinuated, it's a lot of what and why, and I think Kendra does a really good job in terms of explaining why, because what we have to remember here is there's a lot of really hardcore soccer fans in this state because of the history of the sport here, but there's also a lot of new people who want to learn the sport as well. And I think Kendra does a really good job in terms of balancing that both, where she respects both sides of it, and it's really helped us in the broadcast for sure.
When you're kind of explaining the why, do you always have the answers? Like, do you know why all the time?
No, I absolutely do not. And there's times where I think I don't usually try to fake it either. And there'll be times where Cal will phrase or pitch really good questions or points to me because clearly he knows the game of soccer, and so he can analyze the game just as well as I can. But he'll pitch something to me or set me up, as we say in the business, and sometimes I have the answer and sometimes I don't. But I've also been a true, firm believer of, if you don't know something, it's okay to admit that you don't know it. And then the other aspect is just making sure that, you're trying to make it so the viewers can understand what you're saying. And as Cal said, I think kind of balancing it out. You're trying to educate people without them making them feel like they're being educated, is kind of how I like to phrase it. Because some people don't like to be, feel like they're being educated.
And Cal's from England, you are from Stillwater here in
Yes.
Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So when you guys started working together, you guys have been doing it for a few years now. Did it take a while to get the chemistry, or was it right away? Did you guys hit it off?
It's a very good question. We've never been asked that, have we? I think it came around a lot quicker than I think we thought it would. Whenever you're working with somebody new in the booth, it always takes time, right? And I think it came around a lot quicker than we originally thought. There were some funny times and some incidences where I would say something, I would utter an English phrase of some sort, and she would have absolutely no idea what that meant, and vice versa as well.
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, that still happened as well.
Yeah.
I'm absurdly English, which I think is okay.
And I'm absurdly Minnesotan.
Oh, right,
so.
exactly, yeah. So there's been times when there was something you said a while ago, and it was a couple of weeks ago when you said it on the air, and I remember frowning and thinking, I've absolutely no idea what that means, but as long as the audience does, then that's the main thing.
Yeah, and I think I think both of us have worked with other commentators quite a bit in our other roles. So we've gotten used to having to adapt to a new person. There's times where I do a game, and every game it's a different partner, a different broadcast partner. And I know you've worked with so many different ones. So we're used to kind of feeling I want to say opposition, but the partner out in each broadcast. So we've learned how to kind of adapt. But I actually don't remember any major snafus. I think both of us kind of adapted pretty quickly, and and you didn't bring it with you, but he has. So a big thing I think in broadcast is stepping on each other, and just knowing. You've probably heard play-by-play and commentators do this, where if they haven't worked together a lot, they'll talk over each other. They don't find those gaps to kind of fit in and let the game breathe. But Cal has this thing called a lip mic, which only people in England seem to use, and I'd never seen one before. But it kind of gives me this cue when we're doing a game. He pulls it away from his mouth, and so that's kind of my cue that he's done sort of doing the play-by-play. And it doesn't mean I have to talk every time he does it, but it sort of lets me know when he's stopped talking, so then we don't step on each other as much. And I think just that in and of itself is helpful. It's just a visual cue, so we're not always interrupting each other.
Yeah, and it's hard to know when someone's done talking. They might be in the middle of a thought and you think they're done, so that's super important. Tell us what the vibe is like this season. I mean, I know we've been through a lot last season, and there were high hopes. I know there's still big energy. We're about to get fans back. What is the vibe at Allianz Field?
I think right now, first and foremost, everybody's very excited to have a full house again. Mid-June, to our understanding, is when that'll be possible. The last time Minnesota United had a full crowd in was October 19th, 2019, which was the first of a playoff game at Allianz Field when they unfortunately lost to LA Galaxy and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. But it's been a long time coming for sure. Minnesota United have been waiting for this moment to welcome fans back. But in terms of the team themselves, look, they got to the Western Conference Final last season. So with that comes expectation. I was just starting my preparation for the game this weekend against Real Salt Lake. And when you go down the list of the roster, your mouth continues to drop further to the ground every time because of the names that have been brought in. It's by far the strongest roster the team have ever had since coming into Major League Soccer. With that comes expectation, and I think that's okay. They started 0-4, not a great start, but since then 2 victories back-to-back. I would expect them this year, I think anyway, I don't know about you, but I would think towards the top end of the Western Conference is an absolute must.
Yeah, I would agree. But the West is, it's tightly contested. There's a ton of parity in this league, which I think is fabulous for the league. That you never know who's going to win every game. It's no fun when you go into something and you kind of always know who's going to be at the top, who's the cream of the crop for the conference or the league for that matter. So I think with Major League Soccer, there's always kind of the fun of knowing anybody could literally beat anybody on any given day. But knowing this roster and what Adrian Heath and club and company have built, that they should be right up there again. And every game you don't know what to expect.
Sounds like they just need the chemistry that you two have.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's. I will say the plexiglass in between us has been a bit of a hindrance because there's times during the game where I don't say everything I'm thinking, and somebody makes a bad pass or there's a turnover or misses a shot or something, and I usually smack him on the arm. It's like my instant reaction, and I haven't been able to do that since social distancing, and hopefully the plexiglass will go away soon.
Hopefully so, but I must admit, I've suffered years of abuse in the booth. My arm was black and blue, and it was just awful. But no, it was great. It's been good, and clearly, the chemistry has always been there. And I think the longer we work together, it's only going to get stronger. By the way, I love your shoes, by the way. You can score some goals in those for sure. We have a saying in soccer, golden boots.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So there you go.
I didn't know.
The highest scoring player in the league they win the Golden Boot Award.
Interesting.
And they literally get a gold boot.
Well,
Yeah,
there we go.
there you go.
I've never scored a goal in my life.
I've never seen anyone score in wedges, but there's a first for everything and they're gold, so we're good to go.
I got a question. Since you're coming from the UK, you obviously are coming from a place where soccer or football is a frenzy, and now you're coming to the US where it's kind of adapting. What could the American audiences in stadium, what could they take from the UK as far as are they doing a good job as far as the frenzy in the stadium, or do you think that they could be drinking more here, or how are you feeling being in America where it's not as fanatic yet?
Well, the key word there is yes,
Yeah.
and it is coming for sure. I first came over to this country in 2011 to work with another team, and the difference from then compared to now is absolutely astronomical. The television numbers are getting higher every year. The quality of play on the field is getting better year by year. The stadiums and the infrastructure is getting better every year. There's only one way this sport is going in this country, and that's up. I saw the other day, there was a Mexican soccer game. Now, credit, it was a big Mexican soccer game, but it got a higher TV rating than the NHL playoffs did the other day. Wow. So it's only getting bigger and better every year. But to answer your question, in terms of what can the fans do, just keep watching. Just keep watching on television. Just keep turning up to stadiums. And I'm very fortunate that I've called soccer in a lot of different parts of the world. The fans here are just as passionate and just as good. It's just they've not had the exposure for so long because a lot of people have this stereotypical view of American soccer and Americans in soccer, which is completely wrong and illegitimate. So seeing the growth of the sport here, the fans have been on that same trajectory, and it's wonderful to see. It really is.
Are they drinking the same though? It's about the same, or what?
There's different rules in England, though. Can't you only get beer? You can't have beer in the stands, right? You have to
Correct.
go. You can't drink beer while you're sitting in your seat at those games,
What
right?
if you're the play-by-play person or the color commentator? Though?
Well,
Yeah.
that's something else. Yeah,
Depends on how the game is going.
Oh, correct. Yeah. No, I think in England. So yeah, you do. You tend to go to the pub prior and after. Because you can't bring in alcohol into the game, whereas obviously here in American sports you can drink throughout. I had a friend visit a couple of years ago, and he couldn't believe the fact that you could have a beer whilst you were watching the football. It was amazing. So we'll wait and see. But again, it as crazy as it sounds, it is a part of it. It just is what it is. One thing I've learnt about since I've come to this country is the wonderful world of tailgating as well. That was completely and utterly new to me. But that is that again is something that you guys do extremely well, and I'm sure other countries around the world will take note for sure and could learn a thing or two.
Well, at least we have those couple of things going
Yeah.
for us.
That and
So-
hot dish.
So fun chatting with you guys. I wish we had more time because this is a blast. But tell us before you go, what are you most looking forward to this season? Might that be a game or watching a certain player or seeing how something unfolds?
I think the thing I'm most looking forward to, honestly, is to have another sold-out stadium. I mean, and not to underestimate the 4,100 that we've had in there for the home games thus far. They've done a fantastic job, but I've said it even last year in 2020, our PA announcer, God bless his heart, would still say, the gates are open, and nobody would be coming in. And at least this year, 4,100 right now have been coming in. So to see the people so excited to enter a place where they hadn't been in over a year, and knowing like these soccer-specific stadiums are like cathedrals to some of these people, and they did such a fantastic job with Allianz Field. So when we have this game in June and it's a sold-out crowd, which we sold out every game in 2019, easily. We have a waiting list for the season ticket holders. I think to get that packed house in there again and get a win in front of those fans is really what I'm looking forward to, because they deserve it. They deserve it, and soccer in Minnesota has been around for a long time, and adding fans, growing fans, and then the ones that have been around for 20, 30 years. So it'll be fun to see them back in.
Yeah, I would echo that, and I would say I'm looking forward to several more iterations of the Wonderwall, which is obviously sung after every time Minnesota United win. What a sensational tradition that has become, and can't wait to see more of it at Allianz Field.
Well, we can't wait to see it either. We'll be at some games. We'll be listening to you when we're not there, and then we'll be at some games listening to that fan section as well. So
We also have to, before we go, we have to show off our score.
Our announcer thing. So I need you guys to judge how we, when the United score, when United scores, we did our own rendition of goal.
Wow.
So I need
nice.
you to give us, a scale of 1 to 10, how we did.
Okay.
Are you ready? Here we go.
I like it. I like it.
What do you guys think?
Oh yeah.
Wow,
Oh
yes.
yeah. I would give that an 8.5.
I'm going to go 9, and I would say there's a future in there somewhere.
Yes.
Very,
Yes.
very good. Well done.
Speaking of future, where do we find out more information about tryouts?
And then
UFC.com.
UFC.com.
You go.
I'll look into that.
Well, thank you guys for having us.
Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. We'll be looking forward to that packed stadium, and see you guys soon.
Appreciate
Sounds
it.
good. Thank you.
The CW crew on the CW Twin Cities. DJ Bonix, Alexa Score, and John Foss. Like, follow, subscribe to, and love the CW crew.